Hello, good morning. This is Naz from NB Network Lessons. Hope everyone's doing okay and in high spirits. Topic of discussion today is what is a square root? You all have seen this sign right here. Okay. This is known as the radical. Okay. So this sign is known as radical. I'm sure every one of you know what a square root is. But what my aim over here is to go in depth of square root and how do you simplify square roots. So that is the topic of discussion. Let's go ahead and get started. So first thing is that this sign right here is known as a radical. So let's say if I want to find square root of 9, what would that be? I think all of you know in your head that the square root of that is 3. So, what this implies is that why is the square root of 9 is equal to 3? Because if I square 3, right, which is equal to 3 multiplied by 3 is equal to 9. That's the reason square root of 9 is 3, because what you do is that once you multiply the number by itself, it should give you the number which is under the root. Okay. So, what, for example, the opposite of addition is subtraction. Opposite of multiplication is division. Okay. So opposite of square is square root. Simple as that. If you can remember that, you will ace in your exam. Another one. Let's say we have under the root of 36. Well, you can do it in your head. It's going to be 6. Why? Because 6 square, which is 6 times 6, is equal to 36. Okay? All right, let's do another one. Square root of 49. I know all of you students out there can do that in your head, which is 7. Why? Because 7 square, which is equal to 7 times 7 is equal to 49. All right. My aim over here is to present as simple as I can think of so that everybody can understand. Now, let me ask you this. What would be the square root of under root 12? Okay. How would you find that? Well, the answer of that is not going to be a whole number. Like in this case, 3, 6, 7, they are whole number. So the answer of this is going to be like a decimal number. So this is not, answer is not going to be, well, let me just say this. This is not a whole number. Okay. So there are other techniques to find the square root of that, which I will get in later. Same thing with under root 19. This is also not a whole number. Okay. So you can't find answer just in your head. You have to use another techniques. Uh, what about if I put down on the board -4? Okay. What would be the answer? Well, answer, if you multiply 2 by 2 is equal to 4, that is not the answer because you are looking for -4 inside. What if you do -2 times -2? All right. -2 times -2, 4. That is also not the answer. Okay. So this is when you have a negative under the radical, then we get into imaginary numbers, which is a very, very fascinating topic. And I plan on getting into that later on in my course. So for right now, just remember that you can't solve a radical sign with a negative number through traditional way. There is a way which is using imaginary numbers, which we will get into later on. Now, one thing what I would like to mention is that there is a concept of called principal, P-R-I-N-C, principal, which is my pal. Principal, that's how I remember the spelling of principal. Principal is my pal. Okay. Principal square root. Okay. What is a principal square root? You probably have seen that in your books also. So if I do, let's say if I have square root of 25, right? Then this right here is x square is equal to 25, okay, which is equal to 5 times 5, which is equal to 25, okay. So then x is equal to 5 satisfies the condition because 5 times 5 is 25, right? Now, if I say x is equal to minus 5, well, if I do minus 5, that also satisfies the condition because when I do negative 5 square, that is also 25. Okay. However, it's not a principal square root. This negative 5 is not a principal square root. Positive 5, x is equal to 5, that is the principal square root. This is a concept which you have to grasp in your mind. Okay. Generally speaking, when somebody asks you to find a square root, it's a positive number, and that is called principal square root. And then, once we have the negative numbers, that basically, like I said in my earlier in my discussion, that brings up the concept of imaginary numbers, which we're going to get it, which we're going to get on later on. So all right. So that's all I wanted to show you in this lecture. Just want to kind of introduce you to what a square root is, what a radical sign is. But stick with me. There is a lot more. I'm sure all the high school students, some of you guys might have any confusion as to what a square root is, what a radical sign is, how do you simplify square roots. I'm going to clear that up for you. Thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourself. Have a good one. Bye bye.